Andy, how you doing? It's great to see you.
Yeah, you too, James. How you doing?
Yeah, really good. Listen, thank you so much for doing this. We're gonna have just a bit of a conversation so I can get your views on what it's been like taking 100 days off the booze, what it's been like working with me. Because obviously you completed the 100-day alcohol-free challenge, what must be a couple of weeks ago now, and you're still
Yeah,
flying.
just over 2 weeks. Yeah,
So take me
yeah.
back to when you first started. Take me back to 120 odd days ago, wherever we're up to. What was your relationship with alcohol like at that point?
Oh, just prior to meeting up with you, James. Yeah, I was struggling with it, to be honest. It was kind of a little bit out of control, but nothing excessive. But just out of control. I didn't feel I had control of my drinking habits. The weekend was what I thought was just what everybody was doing on a weekend standard.
Hmm.
5 o'clock on a Friday, cracking a beer open, a couple of beers, getting tea ready, and then chilling on a Friday evening with a bottle of wine as well. Saturday, a bit rough, jobs to do, work your way through it, do the same again on the Saturday night. Sunday, rough, not feeling the best, bit of a waste of weekend, but a couple of beers on a Sunday make me feel a bit more normal. Back to back to being able to cope with everything. Work Monday morning, feeling a bit shit Monday morning, to be honest. Regretting the whole weekend, thinking why have I done this again when I've said I'm not going to. Um, Work your way through the weeks. Depends. Some weeks I just go no beer at all, no alcohol at all during the week. Then other days, depending on circumstances, whether I've had a bad day, good day, reason to have a drink. If it was sunny, it's sunny. I'll have a couple in the garden, and whatever. So I could have 3 or 4 pints on a Wednesday without intending to. It just
Mm.
happened. So I think over the whole week, I was just drinking far too much, and I think it was just holding me back a little bit in what I wanted to achieve at the weekend, and just having my own business, new business. I just knew I needed to be a lot fresher and sharper
Mm.
to develop it and to grow it and just be able to survive it.
So
Um,
tell me a little bit about your business, because I mean, I know you're a business owner, you're a chef, and you work really hard. I mean, one thing I've learned from getting to know you over the last sort of few months, you work really hard. So what are some of the differences you've seen since you've taken 100 days off the booze?
oh, it's been brilliant. I've got to be honest. Yeah. But with being self-employed, you take the work when it comes. As most self-employed people know, you work hard to get the business. When the business comes in, you got to work hard to retain the business.
Hmm.
So yeah, self-employed private chef, couple of main clients at the moment. But it's the planning time, the execution time, the clear up time, the time spent developing relationship with the client. There's just so much goes on. So some weeks I can work 90 hours, other weeks it could be 50 hours. It's somewhere between. 90 hours is not as often as it used to be. I'm really working on that. But if I've been drinking, try to manage those hours and just be so present for clients, it's a tough ask, really, really
Mm.
tough ask. And
Mm.
it was something I wasn't particularly proud of, the fact that, and I think also I was trying to drink to cope with it as well.
So you're using it
When
to relieve stress and sort of switch off.
to relieve stress and physical pain, as you know, we've mentioned something else that alcohol helped with pain, and it genuinely did.
Yeah.
And but I just have a cup. Some nights I'd come home from work and I'd been on my feet for 12, 14 hours, and my
Hmm.
feet and legs were throbbing, and a couple of beers, a couple of paracetamol, and it'll help.
Mm.
But yeah, so I used it for pain relief as well, stress relief, just that ease of the end of the day that we all used to. Have a couple of beers, it'll calm everything down, just wind down. Um,
So how
but
have you seen, how's that changed then? So since you stopped drinking, when you were using it as pain relief and using it as a way of de-stressing and switching off at the end of the day, what are you doing differently then now that you've stopped drinking?
uh, I wouldn't say I'm doing things differently, apart from not drinking. And I put more exercise in, but that's because that's a recent thing. I think at the
Mm.
beginning, it I said the massive, massive first change was sleep.
Yeah,
So
definitely. That's a big
all of a
one.
sudden, just yeah, and it's huge. And then the knock-on effects from then getting a really good established sleep pattern back,
Yeah.
uninterrupted, not waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, with anxiety and then scratching around for 2 hours, worrying about actually getting up for work.
Mm.
Because you knew you were getting up at five, between 5 and 6, and it wasn't that long. You think, God, I'm not going to be able to go back to sleep. I'm going to be crap again. Um, Now sleep's great. I wake up before my alarm goes off, which sometimes is a bit of an issue, but waking up too early, like, wait, but I feel great. Um, so I think sleep has made a difference to then being able to perform better the next day.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think over the 100 days, uh, pain tolerance. I went for a patch where I was having to white knuckle the pain, which
Mm.
wasn't great because it was tough to take. Um,
Yeah, I remember.
but like I said to you recently, that sort of like all that additional pain seems to have eased off
Mm.
recently as well. I'm managing it so much better. Um, I don't know whether it's just a combination of everything else, all the good bits that have come together over the 100 days,
Yeah, I think
which
so.
it probably is really. Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
it's because you're
sorry,
functioning
go on.
so much better because you're not, at the end of the
Yeah.
day, when we're drinking, every other day or every day, you know, it, I hate to be over dramatic, but we are kind of poisoning ourselves and we are, it is impacting our immune system. So I think over time, you do just feel healthier, you've got more energy, you're just more productive, like say, and the downstream effects of that positive sleep, are really huge. And I know that's been a really big thing for you. You've spoken before about how much more energy you've got, and you've got much more into exercise, particularly recently. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just been a real transformation, I think. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I, I went through a very, very busy patch of work about 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks back to back. I did 90 hours, no day off. So it's like kind of like 180 hours straight. And if I was drinking alcohol during that period, I might have died. I'm never exaggerating it. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
have survived it. I wouldn't have been able
I don't know how
to.
you did it. Honestly, don't know how you did it.
No, you just do though. Um, but it paid. I paid the price for it. We both know I paid the price for it a little bit. But
Mm,
if I'd have been drinking that, I don't actually think I'd have got the work done. I just
mm,
don't think I'd have been able to achieve it. I
mm.
genuinely wouldn't. And I was pushing myself to the extremes, which just shows you. But the effect it has on just a normal day is massive. You're waking
Definitely.
up fresh, ready for the day. You're alert. You're more positive. You're more engaged. You're more energetic. You approach the day with positivity rather than anxiety and remorse and regret. It's a completely different day. You're looking
Yeah,
at
that
the day and enjoying all the smaller things. You're enjoying the fact the sun's out, and everything seems to be like a positive spin on everything. Whereas in the past, it'd been, oh, bloody hell, yeah, bloody that, and oh,
that's definitely something I've noticed with you is your overall mood and your sense of calm. And
yeah,
we obviously speak quite regularly. We message, and I just love it because I just get these random messages for you in the morning going, I feel absolutely brilliant today. And you just come out with these joyous texts about how great you're feeling. And that, that's wonderful. That is so, so powerful. And I'm always so happy to see those things. But that's kind of why I wanted to get to speak to you and get you to do this recording for me, because I think people assume that when they stop drinking that it's going to be really miserable and it's going to be really hard. You say to most people, okay, 100 days off the booze, how do you feel about that? And they're like, oh my God, it's going to be absolutely awful. But has it been as hard as you thought it was going to be?
no,
It's
no,
just, no.
that's just straight in with an answer is no, not at all. Yeah, people will think it's going to be an absolute nightmare. It's going to be painful. It's going to be hard to cope with. And that was my perception of it. That was my thought process going into it. Um, I I've wanted to stop drinking alcohol for many, many years now, over 10 years that I've wanted to. And I've tried a few times and failed. And but I never knew there's coaching out there. I didn't know it existed. I didn't know that the books were out there. I didn't know the support groups were out there. I didn't know all the help on the socials. I didn't know it was there. And then if you'd have said to me a year ago, stop drinking for 100 days, I'd have laughed because, it was like just even trying to do dry January was always a bit of a tough one. I'd do it, but it was like you couldn't wait to start drinking again
Mm.
on the 1st of February. It'd be like a party day. You'd
So
look
how is this
forward to it.
different? What are the differences between doing dry January and say doing, or just doing the first month that we did together?
Mindset. I mean, it's a different approach, isn't it? It's a
Yeah.
completely different approach. I think going into dry January or the October one, I think it is sober October or something like that. I
Mm.
think you're going into it in your head knowing it's only 30 days or 31 days. You know that's what it is. And then at the end of it, you know you can have a drink again. And you do. Some people do it as a chore or a must, or they think they should do, and others do it out of curiosity. There's maybe people have many different reasons why they do it. Um, Mine was always a little bit of a reset in January from kind of excess of December, and but it was like you'd count the days down, like well, you're counting down to when you could drink again. I think
And
committing
was it?
to 100 days is the opposite. I think really you're going into it with your eyes open.
Mm.
You're going in, you're looking for the differences. You're going in, you're curious. You want to know what you signed up for. You want to see the benefits. You want to feel the benefits. Because bear in mind, I've wanted to stop drinking for a long time and never known how to do it. I didn't even think it was possible. Um, so I was wanting to find those results. So I was hopeful. I was wanting to see change,
Hmm.
not just try to white knuckle through. This is a completely different from the start, it was a completely different mindset for me. We'd spoke earlier before the 100
Yeah.
days. We'd had a couple of chats, and I felt it was absolutely right. It was a perfect thing for me to do to work with you because you were there. You'd be there to help me and inform me and just guide me and just build that relationship around alcohol together through your experiences and my experiences.
Mm.
And yeah, and I'm on a day 115 or 116 today and committed to a year.
It's funny. It's
Um,
interesting, isn't it? Because you described so many people's experience, and it was definitely mine before I stopped drinking. That you do dry January, and you be like, all right, 1st of February, I'll have a pint, thanks. But here you are, 2 weeks over the 100 days, and we'll talk about what comes next in a second. But there's no countdown. There's no counting the days until you get to 100, so you can go back to it. So what's changed your thought process in terms of when you were doing dry January and you were just white knuckling it to the end of the month? How come you've not been doing that with this 100 days? What's actually been different in terms of your psychology? What's your outlook on alcohol now, which would have been different from when you did dry January?
well, I think my outlook on alcohol, well, I went into this 100 days wanting to learn to moderate.
Mm.
And I genuinely thought that's what I wanted. But
Yeah,
it wasn't
that's
what
really
I wanted,
interesting.
really. It wasn't what I wanted, really. But I just thought, oh, you can't live a life without alcohol, can you?
Yeah.
It'd be crap, and boring. It's not. Oh no! I just thought, well, I'd like to. I like to meet up with my mates. Go out, meet my son. My sons are adults, so we go out. Would go out for drinks and laughs, and then just having a nice bottle of red wine with my partner on a weekend. And I thought I can't cut all of that out. I'll moderate. I won't. Oh, if I can just stop drinking in the week and getting so hammered at the week, and then stop drinking on a Sunday, that'll be great. It's like, that's the balance. That's the moderation. And then very, very quickly into the 100 day sort of process, you realize that, nah, mate, it's not really what you want, is it? And it's not going to happen. It's pretty impossible to do.
Yeah, it's hard.
We know there's people out there who can do it, people who take it or leave it, but I was rather drink us all in.
Mm.
So I
Very much
can't
the same.
moderate.
Most
Um,
people can't.
no, and do you know what? I'm comfortable with that, James. It really doesn't bother me. I see the benefits now that once I started the program, probably about 2 weeks in, what once the physical cravings are gone, which I didn't really suffer with them, to be honest.
Most people don't. Most people don't.
No, just
I
don't.
mean,
I just didn't.
I really,
But
really love what you said about when you when you went into it, you just wanted to get control back. You just wanted to moderate. It wasn't your intention to stop drinking altogether. And that's pretty much everyone's experience, well, most people's experience of coming into this. But as you know from other people that you've met within my coaching program, by the end of the 100 days, most people have got a very different view on it. And that definitely was the case for you. So at what point along this kind of 100-day adventure did it change from being, okay, I just want to get control back and moderate to being, I think I'm going to keep this going beyond the 100 days. Where did that change and what led to that change?
I think it was a gradual change, James. It was I noticed real benefits as early as 2 weeks. That I
Mm,
think 2 weeks my sleep had changed. I was feeling better, and once you start to feel the benefits, and I bombarded myself with like quit lit, podcasts, audio books. Every second I had walking the dog or in the car or standing prepping, I was brainwashing myself. Not brainwashing, I was taking information in.
no, no, that's what it is. It's
Um,
reverse brainwashing. If that's pretty
it,
much
it
what it
pretty
is.
much is, isn't it? But it was all pretty helpful. It was brilliant, and it was amazing. The information that I didn't know existed, and through what you've been spreading with me, and we've been talking about. I mean, it was all coming together as my body was starting to heal, as I was starting to feel more myself. So I was starting to feel positive, and my brain was starting to wake up, and I was starting to think, "What have you been doing to yourself? What have you been doing?" And it becomes more and more apparent the longer you go on.
Yeah.
But after a month, I really felt like, okay, I'm feeling much better now. Um, I journaled up until about 2.5 months in. And I kind of eased off on that. I was feeling comfortable. But I think round about day 60, I felt an absolute shift in where I was at. I just felt like it, everything had just slotted in. All the
Mm.
little balls had dropped into place. Um, and I just physically, mentally, just thought, I don't really want to drink again. I really don't. And I don't see it and look at people drinking and go, "Ee," or anything like that. Each to their own. And I'm quite happy to walk past the pub now and go, "Ooh, wonder what alcohol free they sell in there." I mean, I'm not scared of a pub. I'll go in a pub and I'll
Yeah.
socialise. But I'm quite happy to. I think I sent the group a picture of my first draft pint of beer in a pub a couple of weeks ago. It's always been
Yeah. Yeah.
bottles and cans. I had it. I just asked the lady, "What have you got?" She goes, "Oh, we've got this on draft." And it was a craft brew as well, and it was great, and it just made me smile. Um,
So
but
do
yeah,
you
I'd say around about day 60, things started to really click in, and I was asking myself, right, what am I going to do after 100 days? Well, I knew then I was going to continue. Um,
I think
I didn't want
what
to
you've
just
described
say,
is sorry to cut in. I think what you described so well is I think a lot of people have a feeling that okay, I'm going to do this 100 days because I've got to do it. I need to make a change. I'm just going to get through it, and then by the end, I'll do whatever. Maybe I'll go back to it, whatever. But what you've described is over the course of well, when you got to about 60 days, your desire for alcohol had pretty much kind of significantly decreased. And it, to the point now where, I don't know if it's fair to say that it's disappeared, but it's certainly, you don't think about booze in the same way. So there's no resisting something you want. It's just like, I just don't really care anymore. It doesn't hold the same allure that it did 100 days ago. Is that, is that a fair assessment?
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. When I started the 100 days, I was like, right, yeah, I still fancy the drink, yeah, mm, I'll go for it. And I decided that I was 100% going to do 100 days. You knew I was determined. I wasn't going to fail. I was
I
going
know
to do
people are going to
100
do
days.
100 days because they've
Yeah.
invested in themselves. They're doing it. The door's
Yeah.
locked. They're not
Yeah.
coming out for 100 days.
Yeah. I wasn't going to fail regardless. I thought even if it's torture, like, oh, 2, 3 weeks and I'm dying for a beer, or I'll just get through it and I'll get to the 100 days. Because I knew getting to the 100 days, I'd be in a very, very different place and I'd be in a position to be more informed.
Yeah, you
I'd
got data. You got new
full
data you didn't have.
experience. Yeah,
Mm.
and everything would be there for me to look back and go, right, what's happened in these 100 days? My relationship with alcohol now from then is massively different. I don't crave it. I don't want it. I
So no sense of
don't.
loss.
No, oh, no sense of loss. And I thought there would be, and I
Mm.
genuinely was like nervous because I felt there'd be a loss. But there's not. There's only positivity. There's only gains. You know,
Mm.
you're gaining 30 things, 40 things to the one thing you're losing.
Mm.
Um,
That's brilliant.
what I'll probably get the quote wrong, but it was something like "give one thing up to gain everything."
Yeah, it's true.
Um,
It's completely true. And then when you
yeah,
really look at that one thing you're giving up, you realize, "Oh, actually, I'm not really giving up anything.
um,
You're giving up stress, you're giving up anxiety, you're giving up excess
yeah,
weight, you're giving up piss poor sleep. Do you know all of these? You're giving up stress. You know all of these
yeah,
things. We think it's one thing and it's not. It's the opposite. This is true of so many aspects of alcohol. We think it's doing one thing and actually it's doing the complete opposite. We think it helps us relax and switch off and relieve stress. It doesn't. It raises our cortisol levels. We think it helps us socialize. But if I say the word antisocial behavior to you, what do you think of? You think of drunk people. So again, it's the opposite of what we think it is. But
I mean, I was never an aggressive drunk or an idiot, but I do look back on the times I've been drunk, and especially like quite recently, and I think you are a bit of an idiot.
we all are, though.
Um,
We all are.
yeah, and
But
I
that's not
think
you. That's what's
do
in
I,
your glass.
and it isn't me. And I thought, 55 now. I thought, do I want to be this person?
Mm,
No, I don't. I don't know how long I've got left on the planet. I want it to be the best I can do. I want it to be real. I want it to be right for me. And before the 100 days was just living life and not enjoying it. Really not enjoying life.
mm.
I kind of, yeah, I wasn't in a happy place. Yeah, it's so different now. I'm getting
It's
up at
great.
bloody hell, James. I got up at half 5 to go for a run the other day.
I mean, it's brilliant,
Um,
isn't it? I mean, the thing is as well, that is, we'll talk about but our Sunday social group in a second. But just to reference that, that is so common with other people that we work with. I mean,
yeah,
everyone's doing it. And you go back to before people started taking a break from the booze, and it just wouldn't have happened. It's such a change. And so talking about the exercise piece then, so tell me about how much weight have you lost?
ooh, I'm a stone,
A
about a
stone.
stone. Yeah, just a
Brilliant.
stone. Yeah, I've kind of
But
plateaued at the minute. I think maybe I'm just putting a bit of muscle on in my legs with my running and cycling. I like to
yeah.
think,
Well,
but
I think
I've lost.
I think the
Suggest that.
thing with weight is it also depends on how big you were to start with, and
Yeah,
you and I aren't, you know, we're not obese by any stretch of the imagination. We're maybe carrying a little bit of timber before we stop drinking, but we're not.
yes,
So if you're 18 stone and you stop drinking, it's not that difficult to lose 2 stone, But if you're
no,
13 stone, losing a stone is about the equivalent in terms of the percentage of of weight that you're losing. So I think losing a stone is pretty incredible. And I know because some of the health issues you've had, you've not been able to exercise as much as you'd wanted, completely
mm,
unrelated to the alcohol. But whereas you've
yes,
been able to much more recently now, and you've spoken about going out for runs. But to lose a stone, in 100 days, is great. And obviously,
yes.
I think the other thing as well is around how you look, and you got a lot of color in your cheeks and your hair and things like that, and you look so much better than you did when we first started speaking.
I feel so much better in myself. I feel healthier, and I think also when I stopped drinking alcohol, by chance, I stopped eating crisps. I've not had crisps in 100 and odd days now. I've just not had them, and that's not a decision I made. It just happened.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I know what you
I'm sorry, Walkers, but
mean.
no, I feel great. I carry my body better. I feel more confident. I've not got that belly hanging over. I'm still working on it, but that's gone. Probably 8 to 9% of my weight is what I've lost. And
Wow.
I probably did that in the first 2 months. It's settled down a little bit now, but I do want to go further with the weight loss, but I'm not just about it. It'll come when it comes.
All right, got plenty of time.
It's not. It's just something that just happens. But that I didn't go into it to lose weight. I went into it to just have
Yeah, yeah.
a better
Added
life.
benefit, definitely an added benefit.
Yeah, it's a big benefit. Yeah, just went in
So,
for a better life.
so
Yeah,
we get together, you know, when we're doing one-to-one coaching, you know, the first 5 weeks we met every week, and then it kind of dropped down to every 2 weeks. But we've also got the Sunday social, which, just for the benefit of anyone who's watching, everybody that I work with, which is normally around about sort of 10 to 12 people, we get together on a Sunday, and everyone's, you know, doing that same alcohol-free adventure, somewhere between 30 days and 100 days. And you know, you've met everybody else that I work with. And how have you found that experience of getting together in a group setting with other people that are on the same adventure?
yeah. So when you originally mentioned it to me, I was a bit nervous. I was like, "Well, do I want to do this?" I know you were saying like it's not AA, and it's not an AA
It's definitely
meeting,
not
but
AA. I
it's
cannot stress that
no.
more. It's definitely not an
Oh
AA
no,
meeting.
and yeah, just it really is nothing like that. I certainly wouldn't be sat on it if it was. Um, but no, it's not. And I was nervous, and I went into the first one thinking, I don't know what to say. Do you know what? It's been great. It's the most relaxing, comfortable hour. We do it on a Sunday morning, and I look forward to it. Can't always make it, but when I can, I'm on it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's great. We've got different types of characters on there, and they're all over the world at the moment. It's quite
Yeah, we
international, isn't
have.
it?
Yeah, we have got an
Yeah,
international group for sure.
yeah.
And it's
But it's really relaxed, and people are open with each other, and it is not moping about what we used to do. It's quite funny at times. It
it's
really is.
joyous celebration.
Yeah, it's a celebration, but throughout that, from the people of that, we're on a WhatsApp group as well, aren't we? And
Yeah, we got
throughout the
WhatsApp
week,
group.
yeah, and it just carries on throughout the week. The chat, yeah, just
Yeah, I
keeps
think it's that.
going.
I th
People
I
been
th
doing.
One thing that I kind of noticed from that, and part of the reason why I set it up, is when I first went alcohol free, I felt kind of a little bit alone and a little bit isolated, and that makes you kind of sometimes question your decision, and you feel like you're missing out. And yeah, because the rest of the world is telling us that, why aren't you drinking? You should be drinking. Everyone's having a wonderful time, which is bullshit. And so being connected to other people who are doing the same thing, and while we have the WhatsApp group, so people are just sharing what they're doing, and I've just got up and gone for a run, I feel fantastic, I found this 0% beer that's great, and all of these wins, people basically celebrating wins. And I think seeing that pop up on your phone every day, people celebrating, I just find that it's just really life affirming that you're doing something. Yeah, this is absolutely the right thing for me. Has that been your experience?
Yeah, no, it's been great. Yeah, I'd say I was in a similar position. Who do I share this journey with?
Yeah.
No one. Brilliantly, Mel, my partner, she's still not had a drink yet. Um, but she was never a big drinker anyway. But she said she'd do the 100 days with me, and she did. And there's times I said to her, "You have a drink if you want." And she's like, "No, I just said I'd do it with you. I'm going to do it with her." And she did, and she's still not had a drink yet. But we're going away next week for a short break, and she'll probably have a drink then. But I won't. Well, share it, but you're right. It's like no one to share the journey with, no one to sort of like, I don't know, just sort of like give you that little virtual cuddle and say, it's all right, I understand, I'm with you. And then having that little group, we're all in the same place. We've all got similar background
Mm,
experiences, and we're all coming from the same place, and it's great. Um, but
brilliant.
just the people in my life who I've spoken to, they've all been very, very positive. I'll be honest, we go into it and you think people are going to talk down to you. Why are you doing that? I'll just have a drink. My personal experience, it's been brilliant. Everyone's been so, so positive. It's really, I've made a couple of other people think as well, just through
Yeah,
conversation. And
yeah.
I've got a couple of sober, curious people I'm chatting with.
Send them my way.
Um,
I'll give you a referral fee.
yeah, send them your way. One of them definitely doesn't want to stop, but he's very curious
Neither
as
did
to
you, my
like.
friend. Neither did you.
I did not. No, no, no. I
I think you
did.
did, but
It
yeah, I think you just wanted
didn't
someone to
think it was
persuade you.
possible. Yeah, yeah. Is that you at the beginning going, okay, we'll look at your moderation, but you knew it wouldn't be moderation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So did you, when you first started, did you actually, I know we spoke about once you got a few weeks in, you thought actually this is a lot easier than I thought it was. But on day one, when we first started working together, did you think you could do 100 days?
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, I think it did. Um,
You
thought
had a
it'd be
lot of
very
resolve.
difficult. Yeah, I thought it would be very, very difficult. I know what I'm like. If I commit to something, I commit.
Mm,
But I thought it'd be challenging, and I was prepared for that, and I was ready for that because I was focused on right. I've made a commitment, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be accountable to myself and to you,
mm.
and then this is what we're going to do. But it was easier than I thought it was going to be, and it was
I know there.
fairly quickly into the process that I thought, yeah, I can quite easily do this 100 days.
I know there were
Um,
a couple of times during the 100 days where life happened, where there's some shit that went on in life.
yeah,
How did you find that I supported you with that? How did because there were some times where you're a bit things aren't great at the moment. Not really related to the alcohol, but you could have easily gone back and thought, okay, you know what, I don't have to deal with this. I'm just gonna have a drink instead. How did I help?
I think I know one of them that you're talking about was yeah, particularly it was a conversation. It was a conversation I'd had um, that I didn't expect the comments I got, which I found quite hurtful.
Mm,
And in the past, the easiest thing to have done would have been have a couple of beers, have a row, have a bottle of red wine, and then be an arse for a week. But I messaged you fairly early on. I think I'd messaged you not long after, and I was a bit disappointed and said, "Look, this is what's just happened." And you're brilliant. You're supportive, and you sort of like you reminded me of all the reasons why we're doing, and what I've been through, and what do you want to just risk it for that, you know?
mm,
Problem's still there in the morning, the situation's still going there, but don't have a drink, you'll deal with it better. It's not going to go away. You'll just be able to approach it in a much more sensible manner,
yeah, for sure.
which is what I did. Yeah, it's just be more positive about. You have a very different outlook on things. I have anyway. I'm a lot more positive about everything now, and yeah, I'm quite relaxed and quite chilled.
Yeah, cool.
Um,
That's great to see.
I've called very quite chilled. Yeah, and
So
yeah,
now,
the couple occasions, yeah, you've really helped. You just remind me, and your wisdom. You
you're older than
you
me.
give me your ah,
You're older than me.
I'm
I don't know if age means wisdom. I'm not sure. But so now
yeah.
you've done 100 days and then some. So what's next? What happens next?
Well, I obviously want to continue the process, and I think our relationship and the group, and our conversations. I think it's just been valuable, absolutely valuable. And I didn't particularly want it to end. So we're carrying on working together, aren't we? We're
Yeah,
carrying on, and
that's what I was trying to tease out of you.
yeah, I know you are. And I'm just
What's your new goal?
taking my time to put it in there. But yeah, we're going to work together for a full year. We're going to go through the whole full year process together,
Come
aren't we?
on. Yeah, and it's not just
Yeah,
going to be you. It's going to be you, and we've got five other members of our Sunday social group who are going to do the year as
yeah,
well. So it's going to be
yeah,
great. We're going to have 9 more months
yeah.
together.
Absolutely looking forward to it. I think I wanted to see it through to a year. Um, I talked about 6 months, but right now, but in my head now, that's my next target. I'm just taking it to
Yeah,
six
yeah,
months, and then I know from 6 months I'll jump to the year and
yeah,
see
yeah.
where I'm at in the year.
Well, I
Um,
think if you did 6 months, that's going to land you somewhere in. around the Christmas season, which yeah, which is fine. You've done 6 months. That's pretty amazing. I'm not sort of saying that you're going to end up having a drink over Christmas, but it kind of would be nice. I think it kind of would be nice to see the whole year right through because we have all of these limiting beliefs around. Oh, couldn't not drink in the summer, and then there's Christmas and all this. Once you've done the whole year, you're like, well, I've done everything. So bring it
Yeah.
on. There's nothing else. I've done it all.
Yeah.
I'm sorted.
Well,
And I think,
I've done the summer. I've done the summer. We've had the hottest summer we've had. We've had so much lovely weather.
mm,
But I've been enjoying it with alcohol-free beer,
it's crazy, isn't
which
it?
I've got.
Everyone thinks the summer's going to be, oh God, no, I couldn't. All about barbecues. How's a barbecue going to work without a beer? Well, it's not. It's not that difficult, honestly. And it's yeah, and look, you've got out and you've been
Better.
running and stuff, and
Yeah,
oh God, it's
yeah.
just all these stories that we tell ourselves about what we can't do without alcohol, and there's just nothing.
You
There's
just
nothing you can't do without alcohol.
no, you don't, and you genuinely think, I can't do the summer without alcohol. I actually found it was better without
Yeah.
alcohol.
Have you tried it?
Definitely,
Yeah.
you're more present. You're more present. The amount of barbecues I've done in the past when I've been pissed before I've even started cooking, and I'm a professional chef, and it does become quite difficult when you're drunk.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now doing barbecues at home and entertaining, it's just easy. It's nice. It's pleasurable. You actually have better conversation with people. You enjoy the moment.
Well, you're your
You
best.
enjoy the evening.
You're your best self. You're sober. I don't really like using the word sober because it suggests like it's so attached to sort of alcoholism. But when you're not drinking, you're your authentic self. You are you. You know, it's like when people
Yeah,
kind of say, "Yeah, I've had more fun when I've had a few drinks." You're not. You're really not. I mean, who like actually likes being around drunk people? This idea that
yeah,
I'm a better version of myself when I've had a few drinks is absolute bollocks. The best version of you is the one who's sat here right now, who's authentic Andy. Do you know what I mean? You are who you are. You can't upgrade yourself by getting pissed. It's nonsense.
yeah. And it's not a new you find. I think I found the person I was always meant to be back
Yeah, I love
before
that.
I
Yeah.
started drinking. Yeah,
Mm.
it's the person I was before I started drinking. I was saying to Mel, I feel like that 14-year-old boy again before he started drinking. Because I feel
Yeah.
like
It's true, isn't it?
it's
Because
just
your
like
life goes off
it's
in a
like
different
running again,
direction.
isn't it?
It is. No, but I had the same experience as well, and I've worked with lots of people who say that you do. Your life kind of hits a tangent, and we always we make a billion decisions in our life or whatever, and each one leads us to a different path, and one's not right and one's not wrong, but it's just different. And that juncture where you decided to start drinking, and that as we all did, and that leads in a certain direction, and now you can kind of backtrack, and that's part of the joy of going alcohol free for a longer period is you start to discover things about yourself that you just you discover who you really are, not rather than somebody who half the time is half cut or a watered down version of themselves. And again, there's absolutely no judgment whatsoever because that was the same for me until I was in my late 40s.
Yeah,
But now that's changed and you've got this kind of open canvas in front of you and you can just go out and do new things. And actually, there's one thing I wanted to ask you about. Actually, I know you've started to look at getting back into art, which is something that you liked when you were a lot younger, and finding new things to do that potentially we all abandoned in favor of going and drinking in the park when we were when we were 16. you know
yeah,
but that's
yeah.
that's
Well,
wonderful.
I did an art degree, didn't I? First class honours degree in art.
I
And,
didn't know that. I knew you were into art, but I didn't realize you'd actually did a degree in it.
yeah, yeah, first in three-dimensional design.
Check you out.
Um, yeah, graduated in 95. Yeah, 95.
Yeah, cool.
Giving the age away.
I know.
Yeah, but yeah, and then I fell into catering after that. I'd got a job in America that fell through in design industry, and I'd worked in kitchens since I was 15.
Mm.
So I just fell back into that as a temporary stopgap, and I've been in it ever since, but done well from it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, the art's there. I want to do some. I want to get loved lino printing when I was at art school, and I've been following a few people with lino doing lino cut printing. So I kind of fancy doing that. I need. I've checked out some courses locally, but I'm just so busy. I'm struggling to fit things in at the minute, just with my work, and I'm just trying to get a bit of a balance. And Like this month, I'm concentrating on exercise, so it might be something to focus on next month.
Mm.
So I can't. I mean, it's stupid to try and think you can do everything at once. Just, sort of like
Yeah, of course. But you've got that extra
narrow it down.
bandwidth. You get that time back, and you've got that extra bandwidth and that desire to do new things, and that's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. You do want to do more things because you've got that time. There's
Yeah.
so much more time because how much of the weekend do you spend moping in bed with a
Mm.
hangover, not getting up till lunchtime?
Yeah.
You've
It's
you,
not
you've
just
wasted, and then the night before you don't actually do anything because you actually just get in on a Friday and open a beer at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, and you start then, and you're not actually doing anything. You could have
well
gone
that
and done
time
something,
that time you get back when you talk about there. Obviously, you're a very busy guy with work and things. You know, it's not just the time we get back where we're not drinking when we're pissed. It's the next day. It's the kind of recovery in the subsequent days. Because obviously, as we get older, it has a drag effect on the rest of the week. If you're drinking 2 nights a week, it's pretty much in your system and impacting your sleep for the entire week.
yeah.
It's and that's a really heavy price to pay. I mean, time is, the most precious thing that we have. We can't get it back, and we waste so much of it on drinking and recovery from alcohol, and it's just, yeah, it's a real revelation. One thing I wanted to ask you, actually, just before we wrap up, because I'm kind of conscious there'll be other people watching, perhaps they're men, maybe they're between the ages of 45 and 50, business owners like yourself who share your experience. Maybe they're coming back most evenings, having a few beers or a glass of wine, and waking up at 3 a.m., telling themselves that they're fine and they just need to have more discipline or have better willpower, and they're kind of stuck in that cycle that you were. What kind of advice would you give to them?
Oh, well, just from my own personal experience, that's the only thing I can give advice from is give it a go. Absolutely 100% give it a go because you won't regret it. I mean, if it doesn't work for you, what have you lost? 100
Mm.
days or however long you get. You might lose a little bit of cash. So what? You're losing loads of cash and alcohol.
It's true.
So, do you know what I mean? It's like, give it a go and if you go into it with the real open mind, in the right frame of mind that let's go and see how good it can be with it and learn, you won't regret it. You won't. I don't think you will because I haven't regretted it. I was a little bit on the fence before I started, wasn't sure. Um, Took the plunge. Yeah, absolutely worth doing. I would highly recommend it to anybody because I think if you're going to try and do it yourself, you'll struggle and you'll
Yeah.
keep going. Oh, I'll try again next weekend, or I'll try
It's a
again next
false
weekend.
economy,
Oh,
isn't it?
yeah,
It's a
it
false
is.
economy.
You
But
go, you get to Friday. Oh, sod it, I'll do it next weekend. Oh, it's been a tough week. It's been a tough week. You'll see things differently. You really will. Education side of it is great. There's so much to learn, and
you
it's
just
all positive. So give it a go. You got nothing
That's
to
great.
lose.
That's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Well, look,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to working with you for another 9 months, and I think that's probably the best
Yeah.
endorsement that I can get. You wanted to
Yeah.
carry on, and I've thoroughly enjoyed working with you. You're great. You're a great guy, and I really hugely appreciate you doing this for me, because I think hopefully it will help other people to perhaps get in touch and find out a bit more about alcohol-free coaching and whether it's suitable for them. But yeah, congratulations on the 100 days and well beyond, and maybe we'll record another one in a year's time. But thank you so much, Andy. I'm
That'll be good.
grateful.
Yeah. See the difference in
I've got to get you on my
yeah,
podcast as
day three
well.
six five.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll do one. We'll do one. All
Yeah,
right, mate.
definitely.
Thanks so much. I'll speak to you real soon.
Oh, you're welcome. Take care. See you
Yeah.
soon. Cheers. Bye bye.